Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. So this is going to be hopefully a fairly exciting one because after a year on the hard with no progress towards sailing, today is the day where we get the boat ready to go in the water. So I've got quite a lot of jobs to get through to sort of get her rigged and ready to go. But the first one, which is one I've been looking forward to be honest, is to remove the covers because they have been on now for several months and taking them on and off is a real pain and trying to work around them is a real pain. So I'm looking forward to getting them uncovered so I can get on the deck properly and get some of the jobs done. So let's crack on. That's the deck uncovered. She's going to need a scrub down and some little bits of green and there's some bits of dust and crap everywhere, so we'll give her a bit of a scrub down. One of the main things that have not fared particularly well in a year or so of being hung up is all the ropes. So I've actually got some detergent and softener, so I'm going to fill up some buckets with some hot water and give these a good old scrub down and shake down, and I think, to be honest, I think that'll improve them quite a bit. Well, it's a bit of a dreary day today, but as there's no wind, it seems like a good time to try and actually rig the boat. So I've got all the sails. This is the main in here. Hopefully the head sail somewhere in here. So I've got to get that. I've got a new slab pack, which I bought last year, but have never fitted. So I've got to figure that out, and I've got to try and remember how it all goes together, because it's probably been about a year or so since I've put the sails on this. Yeah, so before the rain comes again, let's get started. So that's the sails all fitted, including our fancy new slab pack or sail bag, or whatever you want to call it, with the laser jack system. So we got that last year, courtesy of Moe from Moe Sails, who's just next door to the boatyard here. He does fantastic work if you're ever in the area. I highly recommend him, great guy, great work. But yeah, that's come out quite nicely. I've got the head sail on, which is also Moe's serviced and put a new UV strip on it, so that's looking really nice as well. I must say it went together really nicely. Whilst a lot of the warps and things are a little bit tired and it'd be lovely to have new running rigging, but I just don't have the money for that right now. Yeah, you know, I think they're in decent enough condition, and you know, compared to Salty, the sort of layout of the rigging on this boat is so nice. I mean, I know it's nothing special compared to what you get on a normal boat, but you know, Salty was, you know, it always felt like you were essentially coming up with how to rig the sails a different way every time, whereas this one, you know, everything's labelled, everything has runners on the deck, everything runs back to the cockpit, and yeah, I'm really kind of excited to get out and have a play with this because I think it looks awesome. The next job is to fit this fairly hefty rubbing strake.
For this to make sense, we need to wind things back a bit. Back in November, we found a really dodgy repair underneath the original rubbing strake. We decided to remove the old one so we could fix this issue, and in the process decided to replace the whole thing as it was pretty worn in places.
So finally got enough dry weather to paint up the sides and they're ready to go. So now I'm almost ready to move on to actually sealing that awful gap between the hull and the deck. Before I slap the sealant on though, one of the advice I got online was to prime it first. So I've got some of this Sika, however you say it, multi-primer, which is designed to go under the 291, which I'm going to be using. The next job is to fit this fairly hefty rubbing strake. Once that's fitted onto the rail, then I can get on to siliconing the next bit. Okay, so took a little bit more hammering than I hoped, but I got the rubbing strake on, and I gotta be honest, it looks pretty nice, to be fair. It fits really well. I think it's the right size. I'm glad I didn't go for the bigger one. And yeah, I think it's gonna work really well. So the only last thing to do is to run a second layer of sealant that'll basically bond between the first layer I did and the actual rubbing strake as well. And hopefully, fingers crossed, will allow or will stop some of the water coming in. I've masked it all out because I'm using white mastic, and I figure with my cack-handed application of any kind of silicone, I'm going to get it all over the black rubber and it's going to look horrible. So I've masked out the strake. So yeah, right, while the sun's out and it's not raining, let's get some more of the Silkaflex on this.
Now the rubbing strake is fixed, Tim is back getting the last few bits sorted before we're ready to sail.
been a busy and productive day, and in fact it's been quite a busy and productive trip, and I think all in all it's been quite successful. As I said at the beginning, the point of this trip was to get the boat to a stage where she's literally ready to go in the water, and whilst there's still a few little jobs that need to be done here and there, it's nothing that a sort of day of sorting won't fix. I got to be honest, I'm quite excited about getting some sailing in Hattrick because the rigging on this boat is just so much better laid out than it was on Salty, and I think it's going to make life a lot easier. I've also done lots of little bits and bobs in here. I've sort of finished off the last couple of steps on the wiring. Particularly, I hadn't set up the way that the engine for the battery for the engine would charge into the house bank, so now that's all set up. I've also put a few little hooks and things like that back up so that we've got places to hang jackets and stuff like that, which is actually more important than you think. I've also given the diesel heater a really good shakedown on this trip. Obviously you may have seen the video previously where I installed it and went through those processes, and whilst I sort of plugged it in and tested that it roughly worked, I piped it into the sort of main fuel filter for the engine, and until I had the engine reset up, it didn't work because it was sucking air back through one of the lines. So I've had that running for several hours. It seems to run fine, no trips on the carbon monoxide detector, so I think that's going to be good, and I must say it really does work well to keep it toasty in here. So yeah, all in all, some pretty successful jobs ticked off the list, and I can confidently say that when we come back up here in the next couple of weeks, we'll be ready to put the boat in the water. So if you're looking forward as much as we are to seeing us get back on the water, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video and all that. And most of all, I want to thank you for stopping by, and hope we'll see you in the next one.